Good morning, everyone. Well, not only are our temperatures going way up across Nebraska, but there's a chance of severe storms in central and eastern Nebraska both today and tomorrow. Though I will say I'm a little more concerned about tomorrow than today. That said, the chance of severe weather is not zero today, so we've got to start with today. In fact, we'll start at 8 a.m. this morning, showing that most of the state dry. So most are going to have a dry morning commute. If we're going to see showers, it's probably going to be in the far northeastern part of the state. I do think that once we get to the late morning, we're going to see a little bit more activity. It's probably just going to be showers at this point, and the best chance is probably in the south central part of the state. But what I'm more concerned about is what's going to be happening during the early through the late afternoon hours. It looks like right now, somewhere between 2 and 5 o'clock is going to be the peak of the scattered shower and, yes, thunderstorm activity. That's what's indicated by the shades of orange showing up. What's most likely during the early through the late afternoon hours, especially in the eastern part of the state, some heavy rain and lightning. And notice there are gaps, so some may very well miss out on the rain. But we can't completely rule out a couple of storms overachieving. And talking about the possibility of hail, maybe some damaging wind. Though I do think, notice that the best chance of rain for places like Lincoln, Omaha, about 2 o'clock this afternoon. That's good because we're not at peak heating yet. So I think the better chance of severe weather, see how you see those darker shades of red showing up around Sioux City? I do think that's where the greater chance of severe storms are. It's more likely we're just going to see some heavy rain and lightning for places like Lincoln, Omaha, but we'll leave an outside chance there. Let's talk about temperatures today. Look how many are going to be in the upper 80s, low 90s for highs. And yes, if you're in the upper 80s, low 90s, maybe some in the mid 90s, we're talking about temperatures that are at or near record highs. We'll call it a windy day in the central and eastern part of the state with those gusts around 30 miles per hour to go along with the humid conditions and very warm temperatures. Now out in the west, where as you can see, it's going to be a lot drier, we'll call it a breezy day out there, a little bit cooler as well. Now in the evening hours, even out west, I don't want to completely rule out a stray shower or storm just about anywhere. Notice there's a possibility anywhere, but notice in general quieter than what we're going to see during the afternoon hours. And I do think that once we get late tonight, I can't rule out maybe a stray shower in spots, but the chance for storms is going to be over with after we get through the evening hours. So as far as the severe weather threat today, the greatest threat by far is in the far northeastern part of the state around Sioux City. But technically can't rule out a severe storm for places like North Platte, Kearney, Grand Island, Columbus, Omaha, Lincoln. The chance is small, but not zero. Most likely, again, some will miss out in the rain. It is going to be scattered activity. But if you do get a storm, what's most likely is heavy rain and lightning. Now, if a storm overachieves, a worst-case scenario for these areas in green, quarter-size hail, wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour, and though the chance is very small, can't completely rule out an EF0 or EF1 tornado. That's today, but we still got to talk about tomorrow. And I do think tomorrow is when more are going to end up seeing severe weather. 8 a.m. in the morning, very little going on. A couple stray showers here or there, but most are going to be dry. It is going to be another hot and humid day. And tomorrow, the winds are really going to be cranking. I'm not going to call it just a windy day, a very windy day. And that's regardless of where you are in the state. We're talking across the state, wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour. In fact, tomorrow we might even see the strongest winds in the western part of the state. And the winds might be a little bit weaker in the far eastern part of the state, but no weak winds anywhere to be found. Now notice 1 o'clock in the afternoon, still not much going on. Maybe a couple of stray showers or a weak thunderstorm, but this is not the period we're concerned about. What we're concerned about is what's going to be happening in the late afternoon. This is when the storms are going to start firing up in the central part of the state. So places like Grand Island and Kearney, your best chance of seeing storms and the best chance of potential severe storms late afternoon tomorrow. But if you're in Lincoln or Omaha, it's going to be during the evening hours. Right now, most likely time looking somewhere around 9 o'clock Thursday evening. Heavy rain and lightning looking likely, and I got to say, the threat for damaging wind and hail going up. Notice that the threat for just about everyone in central and eastern Nebraska, with the exception of North Platte, is higher for tomorrow. Notice that a good chunk of the state is in that slight or enhanced risk, level 2, level 3. And as far as a worst case scenario for late tomorrow afternoon and evening, I do think we're talking about the possibility of up to golf ball size hail, Wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour. Now, a little bit of good news. I don't think the tornado threat is any higher than today. It's still a very small chance that we're going to see a tornado, but I'm more concerned about that damaging wind and hail. So, of course, we'll keep you posted on both severe threats.